let's let's kick it off. Thank you very much for joining us. Maybe as a very short introduction, my name is Mike. I'm from the AI Art Magazine, and I'm super happy to welcome us today on our stream. You joined our open call. Thank you very much for that. And you did not only get selected to be printed in our magazine, but you also got this very special award by our jury, which we call the Golden Ticket. So you will be very prominent in our magazine, and we thought it's a very good chance to invite you and to talk about your work and to show your work. So thank you very much for contributing. Congratulations for the Golden Ticket, and also thank you very much for being here today.
Thanks for having me. Thanks for the. I'm honored to be in the first issue of Art Magazine. I'm very happy. Thanks to you. Thanks to all the judges, and especially thanks to Götz.
Yeah. So maybe we can take the chance and you introduce yourself, and then we can have a look at your artwork that you submitted.
Yeah, sure. I'm Oz. I'm coming originally from Turkey. I've been living in Germany since 2007, and last 2 years I've been living in Hamburg. And for about 15 or 16 years, I have a brand design experience. I'm a designer. I have a design background, creative direction, design direction, etc. I have lots of agency experiences. And the last 3 years, I've been working on generative AI models and diffusion models, and I'm currently working as head of AI in one of the successful companies in Europe, and we are trying to implement actually scalable content creation for our clients.
Okay, that's super interesting. So the work that you're doing, is this very close to what you're doing in your, let's say, professional life, or is this kind of a side project where you have your own style and a bit differently?
Yeah, sure. Those are side hustles, I'd say. And what we are doing, the way of generating AI visuals or AI content are similar, but the results I'm really free what I'm doing with side hustles, because you have to consider the client wishes and the creative process, creative directions actually. A little bit different than the normal side hustle, where you can really free to go and greenlight you can produce something freely. So it's a bit similar, but different in a kind of way.
Yeah, I can imagine. So your work really struck us. Maybe I will show it in a second, but what I think is really special. I was not aware. I mean, when we're talking about art that has been done using generative AI, one of the things we always think machines are not very able to do is to have emotions or to show emotions. And I think your work is centrally located around this topic. So you're working a lot with this conflict of emotions and AI generated work. And I think I just show your work in the background so everyone knows.
That's right. Yes, you're right. I'm actually, I can't, first of all, I can't say that I'm an artist. I'm a creative. I have a creative mind, and I am trying to collaborate with machines. And we are also try to find some communication between machines. We are already there are currently an AI boom going on right now, and all of the outputs or generated images look alike, and this plastic feeling and not realistic feeling, it's a little bit not the way that I want to work with the machines or co-create with the machines. I'm trying to pull out the emotions from the tokens. And I'm also, this is a tagline in Viewfinder, one of the accounts that I'm working as a side hustle, collaborating with machines as a side hustle. I used chasing stories in latent space. Latent space is the space of the AI, and I'm currently working on pulling out the emotions from the machines, if there are any. I don't know. I'm not sure. Like I said, I'm not an artist. I'm a co-creator, and for me, we are not doing a work like a real painter or sculptor. It's, I guess, a new kind of working that we are trying to implement to our lives as creatives. So I would say the emotion thing, the theme is, or the subject is really important for me. And I'm trying to pull out from the machines those kind of emotions.
Yeah, and I think this is really strong work. So I really love those emotions. We've been talking a little bit before this stream about emotions and AI work, and I'm super curious about different emotions you've been experimenting with in your work. Did you see, is it especially hard to get certain emotions and easier to get others, or how would you see that?
It's a good question, actually, Mike, because I'm working with all kinds of models, not only Midjourney model, not only Flux, Recraft. There are lots of models, diffusion models, visual diffusion models out there, and all of them have pros and cons. What you are trying to do is, if you want to tell a story with a generated image, it has to be it has to have an emotion in it. So there are different kind of communications with different kind of models out there. If you want to create something with Midjourney, for example, it's a little bit easier than the other models, because the Midjourney has a lot of community feedback, and they are regenerating their models, and they are receiving a lot of feedback, and they are developing their models in an aesthetic way rather than the other developers. And for example, in Flux, it's a little bit difficult to create dynamic posing and some kind of styling that Midjourney has. And with Recraft is a little bit realistic. The other ones, shadows are working really well. But I'm not going to explain in detail all of the models, pros and cons, but there are different kind of communications between machines or models and the communication style, the prompting style. So we have to take into consider those kind of prompting styles.
And
But
when you
back to your question, I think the surrealistic dramatic storytelling is a little bit easier than realistic storytelling. I would maybe summarize it like that.
I would just be curious because you said Midjourney, like the community is feeding back very aesthetic photos or a very aesthetic look, but emotions are not always aesthetic, right? So there is also
Yeah,
like
right.
if someone is very sad and like in your image loss, do you see is this harder? Like are people also like are the models also trained on sadness and anger and emotions like this, or don't you see any difference in that?
I guess there are two kind of ways of creating images with Midjourney. There are lots of ways, but in my kind of style of working, there are two ways, I guess, because if you want to take the actual parameters without changing anything, you create the similar AI look like most of the people are creating. But there are also some options, personalized options. There are also style references that you can mix up and create a different style, an original style maybe. Those are the pros of Midjourney, and the feeding mechanism in Midjourney is working really good, because they are giving free hours to the users, and I think it's an intelligent business, because you are paying for a subscription, and you are also developing their models, and they are they are giving you free hours, and you can rate the images, and you can improve your personalized settings. But it's I guess a win-win situation for the users in Midjourney. In the other models, for example, in Flux, the way of understanding the prompt crafting is a little bit easier than Midjourney, because if you want to if you want to have a scenario in your head, you can craft your prompting, and you can generate really similar results what you had in mind. So in Midjourney, for example, I'm testing also completely let the AI do the work, completely free tokens. For example, I'm asking sometimes an editorial image um of a humanity issue, for example, and I'm testing the model, how it reacts to those kind of tokens without any defined prompting. So some of the results in viewfinder account that you saw, also some of them are really free. I let the machine really create free things from a general tokens or general prompting. So it's really strange to see emotional outputs from those kind of generalized prompting. It's kind of strange to me, because the AI engineers are developing those kind of models, and we are not actually sure what is happening between those kind of machine learning process. So, for example, it's a common example in AI generating, the model generating. If you say, for example, learn Kung Fu, it learns also the Asian culture and the other arts of martial arts, etc. It's strange to me. What's happening between those machine learning process, we are not sure, but I want to try to pull out those kind of outputs. So a little bit gimmicky outputs.
Yeah, and I think you do this in a very nice way. I mean, I was really surprised by the way you're doing your work, and um, we have a question from the community, which I think is a very interesting question, because your photos sometimes look a bit like, or your work sometimes look a bit like analog photos, and you told me before that this is one of your hobbies to work with analog photos. And surprisingly, we have a question: do you feed machine with analog photos? Like, do you train your models on analog photos,
In
or?
in this under this account viewfinder, I'm doing actually nothing. I'm taking the outputs and then posting them to Instagram account. But in my normal professional life, I'm also feeding, I'm also training the AI models, I'm also directing them, and we are creating together actually with the models. But in cartoons by AI, I also have an account, but I'm not updating it occasionally. Long time no updates. In under that account, I try to um, let the AI really create by itself. For example, generate an image about wars and children, and then it generated something from its database completely freely. In Viewfinder, for example, I'm also trying to give an input about an issue, for example, a loss, which you have chosen. Thanks again. I'm not prompting everything. I'm letting the AI machine do the work, the half of the work, and the half of the work I do. But I'm not giving any reference images. I could do it, because if you look at the feed under viewfinder account, you will see a similar output, similar storytelling, and from the outputs, I can refeed them and train my model, but I want to be surprised. So
So surprise is a decent amount of you allow a decent amount of surprise in your work, right?
definitely,
Oh, that's
definitely,
amazing.
definitely.
Should,
Sometimes I think the machines are creating um, freely better than the directed ones. I don't know. I don't know how I get it right to you, but they are creating better freely, I guess.
maybe you can share with us a bit, like you allow a decent amount of um, randomness also and creativity, machine creativity in your work, basically. But I assume that there's a lot of curation going on, right? So I assume it takes some
Definitely,
time to get to the point where you like the output, or
definitely. Um, Actually, my code creation, it's starting with the, like you said, creation process. After prompt, after prompting and generating the results, the creation process is the most important next step, I guess, because you are not. It's the AI world is not a world like you are prompting and then you are creating a result that you like the most. So the creation process is the most important one, and then the other one, there are lots of inspirations out there in the world. If you go, I don't know, traveling, reading books, or watching a movie, there are lots of inspirations out there. If I watch a movie that really affects me and in a positive way, I guess, I have to try to find generate them with the machine together. So uh, um, specifically for loss, the image, the output. Uh, I can't say AI artwork or something like that, but the output is a technical way of saying um, the inspiration was a sculpture in Dantor, backside of Dantor. There's a sculpture about the um, migration of the people in the Second World War. So it was an inspiration. Loss, some kind of there are lots of loss going on right now in the world also, and sometimes I listen a song and it's an inspiration to me, and I want to generate a happy result, but most of the time all of them are dramatic outputs, but yeah, it's um, an emotional process the after the creation. I guess it's I'm putting out the mm, the most potential storytelling output out there.
yeah. And to me, it's something very special, like this work that is full of emotions, and also this black and white style. You mentioned you find a work before. Maybe we can have a quick look. I just opened the website in the background, so I can really highly recommend for everyone to have a look and explore your work, because there is many really strong works there to explore.
Thank you. I
Um,
appreciate that.
is it for you? Do you think it's easier to show emotions in a group of people, or in this portrait style?
It's a little bit difficult than the single person poses because the AI models are not yet in that level to produce, I don't know, maybe 5 person or 6 person at a time in a really good intricate details. So 3 people, 4 people max is currently okay. I would say. But single person portraits or two-person portraits are also working better than the lots of the people. You also ask about black and white, or just about the
Um,
person in mind?
no, I'm also super interested in the black and white because it's also very special and like looks like very traditional photography, and
Yes.
I think it also has a very special style. Maybe is this also grounded in your love of working with analog photography, or how do you come to the black and white?
Yes, black and white is also a really strong. It's a base of a really strong storytelling, I guess. And also, like you mentioned, I'm also a little bit familiar with the analog photography as a hobbyist, I would say. Uh, if you know, I'm also telling my friends this most of the time. If you have an expertise in an art style like photography or creative industry like design or something like that, you can communicate with the machine in a better way because you are also familiar with the language, with the literature or the terminology or those kind of specific artwork or art style. So if you feed the machine or your prompt with for example Kodak Portra or I don't know the the details of the objective or lenses or the body or film structure, and it creates better, it understands better what you mean. And also in black and white, I want to if you put a color in your room or I don't know in your art or image or your work, you you are defining the emotion beforehand in my honest opinion because if if you put red vase, for example, on a table, it creates an other emotion than the green one, for example. So in black and white, if you generate something in black and white, you let the people think, you let the people feel by themselves. So I'm trying to co-create with the models, not dictating the emotion directly. I'm giving a base, we are creating together with the model, and then the viewer has to decide what he or she is going to feel.
Thank you very much. So I'm just in parallel having a quick look if there are any questions from the community at the moment. No, so if you have any questions, it's a good time to drop them because I think we're slowly getting to an end. I have one last question to you. What can we expect in the future? Is there like, are you deep diving into the viewfinder art in the moment, or are there any other things you're working on? I know you're doing
Yeah, we
a
are
lot of streams.
a lot of going on, a lot of going on right now in the business. In the business side, we are trying to implement a realistic or realistic content for our clients. We are building our training service, training facility. But on the person side, we are also building with my friends an AI community, which will be published in the next year in the coming months, I would say. Also, I'm giving workshops and presentations with collaborations like Design Centrum Hamburg or those kind of organizations. They are community based, and also I am supporting the open source community like ConfUI. I'm one of the beta testers of ConfUI. We are developing a better user interface with the developers of ConfUI, and also I'm working not only in black and white code creations. Also, I'm working with the color, analog feeling, and surrealistic ones. If there are out there interested people, you can check my the other account, the Oğuz Öcalan, Oğuz Öcalan account. But I don't have enough time to publish everything. So right now, percentually, viewfinder is a little bit more. I'm generating more under viewfinder than the other ones, but there are lots of going on right now, Mike.
Thank you. We have one more question from the community. Do you have any tips for people who want to start a career in AI film?
AI film?
Yes. Like
it depends on what your expertise is, because if you're all currently a director or in the film business, you have a bigger chance the new starter. But I would say it's a try and error and self-development process. If I would say in open source, like new models like Mochi or Runway, there are lots of video models out there. Go out there, try and error, develop yourself. Maybe as like a side hustle. If you work currently on a job that's not satisfying you, then you can create a side hustle. You can develop yourself a little bit further, and then after lots of try and errors, then you can develop a career. You can start a career, because it will be next year will be the AI video year, I guess.
yeah, I think so. I mean, endless possibilities now, right?
Totally.
Okay.
Totally.
Okay. So thank you so much for contributing and for sharing your work, taking the time to have this call here. Thank you also very much for everyone who watched us, and good luck with your different activities in the next year. I'm really looking forward to learn more and see your collaborations, and would be great to stay in touch.
Thank you. Thanks for having me again. Thanks to Götz and all of the judges, because AI Art Magazine is one of the will be one of the milestones, I guess. And it's there are not lots of magazines out there that are defining the culture or building a community around it. So I'm a community guy, and I'm supporting you. And thanks for having me again. And looking forward to maybe collaborations in the future together.
Absolutely.
And thanks again, Mike.
Thank you so much. So see you soon. Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Okay.